He was snatched from the river Nile by the daughter of the king of Egypt and raised in the palace as her own son. She named him Moses, meaning I drew him from the river, but he was really the son of Hebrew slaves. 2 weeks ago I began this devotional series entitled For Such a Time as This. It focuses on those times when through God's providence someone is elevated to a position of influence and is called upon by God to deliver his people. This devotional today is entitled Choose Heavenly Treasures. During and after the famine in Canaan, the Hebrews moved to dwell in Egypt. In Egypt, their numbers increased so rapidly that they became a threat to the Egyptians. So the king of Egypt, in an effort to slow the growth of the Hebrew population, had all the male babies killed by having them tossed into the river Nile at birth. But God preserved the life of Moses, enabling him to grow up with a life of privilege in the palace of the king. But his turning point came one day as he went out to watch the Hebrews as they toiled under the savagery of the taskmasters. He took matters into his own hands one day to avenge the life of a Hebrew that was being abused by an Egyptian. As a result, he had to flee for his life. There comes a time in all of our lives when we have to make the hard choices. Do we choose riches or privilege or status? Or do we choose the path of righteousness even though it may cause us pain and suffering? In his quiet lifestyle as a shepherd in the back of the Midian desert, God got Moses' attention one day through a burning bush to remind him why he drew him from the river. God had heard the cries of the Israelites and had seen their oppression at the hands of the Egyptian taskmasters. So God said to Moses in Exodus 3 verse 10, Go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people Israel out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Who am I that I should go? Moses' question might be one that you have asked, feeling secure in your own position, not wanting to make waves, or perhaps feeling very insecure and inadequate for the task ahead. Either way, God may have called you to his kingdom for such a time as this. Back in Egypt, Moses appealed to the king to set the people free, was rejected time and time again. But Pharaoh finally relented, realizing it was God and not Moses he was really fighting against. So with great reluctance, he set the Israelites free. Exodus 12, verse 31. That night, God used Moses to lead the children of Israel out of bondage into freedom. The writer to the Hebrews summarizes Moses' choice this way. Hebrews 11:24-25. By faith, Moses, when grown, refused the privileges of the Egyptian royal house. He chose a hard life with God's people because he valued suffering in Messiah's camp far greater than the wealth of Egypt. Perhaps God has positioned you where you are for such a time as this. Make your choice for the eternal. Choose heavenly treasures.